Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Can you tell us what's your name?
My name is, well, people call me Noora, but my full name is Julianne Skazni.
Where are you from, Noora?
On my mom's side is Syrian. My grandma was born in Halab, and my dad, he's American, and his parents are Polish and Slovak.
Yeah.
But I was born here in the U.S. in Detroit, Michigan.
So you are the second generation of your family here in the United States.
Yeah.
From your mom's side, right?
Yeah.
Were you Christian, or like, I know that your father would be Christian because he's American. What about your mom? Is she Christian too?
Yeah, both of them are Catholic.
And you were born Christian as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And now I see that you're putting the hijab. That means that you became a Muslim. How long have you been Muslim?
I've been Muslima for 10 years, mashallah.
Right. So how was your life before Islam? Like okay, when did you become Muslim? Like 10 years, how old were you at that time?
I was 15 years old, and there was some things about Catholicism that I didn't understand, and I didn't understand that we had to, make confession to the priest, and that we would, pray to Jesus and Mary and all the saints and stuff. So I used to, just say, I think of God as like the Father or something. So I always prayed to him, and but I always thought of him as like one God. So I never understood actually the concept of the Trinity very well.
Right.
So
what made you to think that Islam is right? Like, how did you get to the idea that to know Islam and think about Islam?
Well, I was in my world history class in high school, and we were talking about the major religions, and we came to Islam, and I was very interested from my background on my mom's side, and so we were studying it, and there was a guy from Egypt, and the teacher was saying some misconceptions, and some wrong things, so he was correcting the teacher, and I thought, wow, he's correcting the teacher. Usually the teacher is correcting the student, and he wasn't scared, like, even though people were like, well, looking at him funny or something. But so I thought, like, I want this confidence, yes, in the religion. So I asked him, what's the difference between Catholicism or Christianity and Islam? And he said, not very much. So I wasn't very satisfied with that answer. So I asked his mom for a copy of the Quran, which is the Muslim holy book. It's the final revelation sent by God. And I knew when I read it, even in English, like, you can just tell that it's from God. It's not the words of a person, And I mean, even like the second chapter in the Quran, it tells you, if you can find a contradiction in it, then it's invalid. And then it said, you will never. And I mean, countless people have tried, and they never could.
Right. So at that time you start to be convinced about Islam, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
like a situation or a position where actually, or a time where you actually decided, okay, this is the right book and this is the right religion, I want to take it, and that's it, and I want to become a Muslim. Like, how was that transition became from Christianity to Islam right away,
It wasn't really like a transition. It was just like, I couldn't put the Quran down. I just kept reading it, and it had all the answers, and it was powerful, and like, I wrote poetry, and I loved poetry, and like, this was this was amazing to me. And so when you read it and everything, like I didn't understand everything about it, you know, but I knew that I cannot, you know, I can't deny that this is the way, you know.
Right. Okay, and now you became a Muslim. Have anybody told you how to pray, how to do things? Like, how did you learn all the things that you need to do in Islam? For example, how to connect to God and how to talk to God and how to be a good Muslim?
Well, basically, I did some research on the internet, and my friends, I had some Muslim friends, and the parents, they tried to, you know, help me to learn about Islam a little bit, but my mom, she kept intervening and threatening them, telling them, you're confusing my daughter, stop talking to her, stop giving her information, you know. I mean, it was a pretty big struggle, but so basically I got a book that taught about the salah, the prayer, and I learned it by myself. Like, I didn't even have an audio, you know, I just tried to learn the pronunciation, everything by myself, and you know, I was basically by myself.
Right. How was your parents' reaction about that? Were they pleased about what you did, like you become Muslim?
The first reaction was like, oh, it's a phase, you know. Like, I remember when we were driving to Detroit one time, we passed this big masjid in, gosh, maybe it was in like Cincinnati or something, but it was huge. And I'm like, Mom, can we stop there? I'm like, come on, let's go. And she's like, no, what are you, crazy? You know, and, you know, what are you talking about? And like, so, you know, they used to like threaten me, tell me, you know, you're Catholic in this house or you leave, you know, and like, you're not Muslim. And
you were only 15 years old at that time, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, it was really hard, you know, I had to conceal my praying because you know, one time, like, I was just really scared, you know, and yelling at me and, you know, like threatening me and just going crazy basically. And you know, so I used, like, my dad, he used to check my room every day for Islamic materials and hijab, and they would take it and throw it away. And you know, I mean, that hurts so much. But, you know, I used to put my Quran in the air conditioning vent because, you know, I didn't want them to throw it out. These were the words of God, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And so you were abused from your parents for being a Muslim, and they didn't want you to be a Muslim, right? Especially like you are still underage. Now, it took you a process. You did not go out of the house or anything like that. You stayed at your house, you know, having patience.
Like my mom would, my parents would tell me, like, I would put on hijab and stuff, and they'd be like, you're not going out of the house like that. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I wouldn't go, you know, and sometimes I'd just be like, yes, I am, you know. And I used to, like, keep my hijab in my car, and when I would leave, then I would put it on.